Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at the Bilstein B8 5100 series adjustable height front shock, fitting all 2015 through 2020 four-wheel drive F-150s. Now the Bilstein B8 will be an extremely high quality front shock with the main feature of offering front end lift anywhere from 0 to 2 inches thanks to the snap ring design. This is basically going to allow truck owners to level their rigs while still maintaining full shock travel, along with a firm yet very comfortable ride both on and off road. So ever since I can remember, the 5100 series dampers from Bilstein were one of the go-to options for truck owners looking for, I would say, a moderately priced but high quality upgrade over the factory dampers when it comes to things like ride quality, handling, and off-road performance. Now the B8 5100 shock that we have here today will specifically be the ride height adjustable option. And again, this is going to give F-150 owners the ability to level or lift the front of their truck anywhere from 0 to 2 inches thanks to the snap ring design here on the body itself. Now this is going to give F-150 owners a couple of options. For instance, if you're the type of owner who prefers that factory nose down rake for towing, well, then you will have the ability to maintain that factory stance if you prefer. On the other hand, if you're the type of owner who wants to go with more of a leveled look, well, this will obviously help you achieve that as well by going with the 2-inch lift option for the shock itself. And more importantly, guys, even if you go with that full 2-inch leveling for the front, it's still gonna maintain full shock travel and performance, which, let's be honest, that's something you can't always say when you install those cheaper puck style spacers on the top of your factory coilover.
On another note, guys, the recommended tire size will be 33 inches. However, anything bigger than that may require some modifications.
Moving into construction here, guys, and completely on point from Bilstein and the USA made components as we've come to expect from the brand over the years. Now, this particular damper is going to feature a 46mm monotube design along with a gas charge and a silver zinc coated stainless steel body here. Now, the Bilstein does feature the company's patented digressive valving technology, which will basically allow the shock to rapidly change to surface conditions, making for a smoother and more predictable ride both on and off-road. Now this option will reuse your factory front springs and will be a direct replacement for the front shock itself. But you should note here, guys, these are sold individually, so obviously you need to grab two if you're looking to do the front at the same time. Now pricing for the single Bilstein, guys, is gonna land right around 200 bucks, give or take, which is gonna be right in line with other similar options on the site from companies like Fox and Eibach. And while that might be a bit more than a puck style leveling kit at the end of the day, I would say the ride quality, build quality, and adjustability when it comes to ride height really do make this worth it in my humble opinion. But now let's shift gears and talk more about the install, and the site's gonna call this a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you, I would say, at least an hour to complete from start to finish. Heads up here, guys, you will need to use a spring compressor or something similar if you are going to disassemble basically your factory coilover and then reinstall your factory spring onto the new Bilstein damper. So just something to keep in mind there, guys. But to give you a better idea of just what this install looks like and how things might go down at home, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need air and electric impacts, a ratchet, a long extension, swivel adapter, 8, 10, 16, 18, deep and shallow 19 and 21mm sockets, 18 and 19mm wrenches, 15mm ratchet wrench, needle nose pliers, a pry bar, a punch, a hammer, a bungee cord, a ball joint service tool, and also not shown here is a spring compressor and a jack and jack stands. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing some front shocks on our F-150, so let's get started. So we've got our truck in the air and we've got our wheels off, and the first thing we're going to need to do is come to our steering knuckle. We're going to have to remove our brake and ABS brackets from the knuckle itself. That's just going to relieve any tension and excess stretching for our brake lines when we go ahead and separate our knuckle from our upper control arm. So we'll go ahead and grab our 8mm and 10mm socket for our ratchet and remove these two bolts holding our brackets in place. And once we pull that out and separate our bracket, we'll go ahead and put that bolt right back where it went. This just makes things easier to keep track of. It's easy to lose these small bolts. We'll swap out to our 10 mil socket. Go ahead and remove this one. Make sure that's free and clear. It's not going to catch on anything. Next, we can go ahead and remove our outer tie rod nut using our 21 mil socket on our impact. Now we can go ahead and separate the tie rod from its seat using a ball peen hammer, and we're just going to smack the knuckle right on the side here, and that's going to shock it loose. So sometimes these can be a little bit stubborn coming out, so what we're going to do is grab our ball joint service tool and go ahead and use this to press our tie rod out of the knuckle. So we'll go ahead and hook this onto our knuckle and get our pusher lined up with the bottom of our ball joint shaft. Get that nice and tight there. Then we're going to grab our 16 mil socket on our impact and gently push that out. Now you do want to exercise caution because this is going to be under pressure, so don't put your face near it or anything like that. And once that's up and out, go ahead and pull our tie rod out. Next, we'll go ahead and remove our sway bar end link from our lower control arm. So we'll grab our 18 mil socket on our impact to do that. Now we can go ahead and loosen up our mounting nut for our upper ball joint here. Now we're not going to fully remove this just yet. We're going to leave it on a couple threads. It's going to help catch the knuckle once we separate the ball joint from the knuckle. So we'll grab our 18 mil socket and swivel adapter on our impact, loosen this up. Make sure that stays on a few threads. Now before we separate this, we're going to go ahead and grab a bungee cord and wrap that around the top of the knuckle and hook it to our frame. This is going to help hold our knuckle and allow it to not drop and separate any of our axle components or anything like that. Just a handy dandy tool to have. So go ahead and hook this. Now we'll go ahead and grab our hammer and give our knuckle a few taps here to separate that ball joint. So now we'll go ahead and get our nut off of here and get our ball joint out of our knuckle, and we'll just roll our knuckle to the side. Just go ahead and stick that nut right back on our upper ball joint. So now we can go ahead and unbolt our lower strut mounts. Now ours have been replaced due to many previous installs and overworking of our hardware. So ours is going to be a 19 mil wrench and a 19 mil socket on our impact. Go ahead and pull that first bolt out. So we'll go ahead and remove our other mounting bolt. Now from the factory, these are pressed in studs going down, so you would have a mounting nut. Now you could either hammer those out or kind of use a pry bar and pull down on your lower control arm. Just be mindful of your axle in order to get this out of its seat here. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the 3 upper mounting nuts for our strut. So we'll grab our 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench. I like to use S wrenches for these. You get a bit more articulation, but a regular ratchet wrench will work. So once you have all these loose, you should be able to go ahead and support your strut and loosen all these up and get them out by hand. And go ahead and pull your strut. Now once you have this process complete for this side, you can go ahead and repeat these same steps for the other side. So now we're going to need to remove our factory shock from our strut assembly, which is going to require compressing our spring and removing the nut for the top hat mount. So we got our strut here in our spring compressor. We're going to go ahead and compress that down, remove our top hat nut with our 18mm socket and swivel adapter on our impact, and then go ahead and remove our factory shock. So we've got this compressed up off the base here, so we'll go ahead and get our tool and send it through the top. Now you can also use a ratcheting wrench for this. We're going to go ahead and use our impact and go ahead and support our shock and remove that nut. So we're going to need to swap over the spring cup as well as the bump stop from our factory shock. So we'll go ahead and pop that off. In order to remove the spring seat from our factory shock here, we're going to need to remove this pressed on cap. Now we have our shock in our vise here. Notice we do not have the shock body in the vise itself. It is simply the bottom mount with the bushing. Do not put your shock body in the vise. It will cause detrimental damage. So we'll go ahead and grab a punch and a small hammer. We're just going to tap this up off of the cap here. You want to work your way back and forth. So once this comes off, we'll go ahead and pull this off. And we can remove our spring seat and we can transfer that to the new shock. So the new shocks we are installing are height adjustable. Now they go from factory height up to 2 inches of lift. So that is going to be adjusted by this snap ring here that's going to dictate where your bottom spring seat sits. So all the way at the bottom here is going to be factory height. All the way at the top is going to be your maximum lift. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to set ours at the max lift. And all you need to do in order to adjust this is before you install it, you're going to set your snap ring here into one of these little collars based on what height you want your front end of your truck to sit and get ours. Now this is a little bit tricky. We're actually going to go ahead over to the vise, set our new one in so we can get it set in place a little easier. There's a couple different ways you could get this to move. You could use snap ring pliers, or as we have here, some needle nose with some little indents drilled in the back side of them. We're going to go ahead and open our ring up and move that up to the appropriate spot on our shock. Now we've got this set all the way at the max height, so now we can begin reassembling our strut. So now we can install our provided cup for our spring seat, and you want the tapered edge to be down, just like so. Now we can go ahead and install the spring seat itself. Make sure that sits evenly on the cup. Next we'll go ahead and install our bump stop. Let's just slide that on. Now we can go ahead and get this into our strut. Go ahead and send this up through. Line our top up. Make sure your bottom coil of your spring is sitting on the seat as it should be. We'll install our washer, followed by our provided lock nut. Now before we tighten this down, we want to line up our bottom mounts with where our factory top mounts go. We're going to use our front right mounting stud to be our reference. Line our bottom mounting point up directly with that, facing with the tilt outwards. So now we'll go ahead and tighten this down using our 19mm socket and swivel adapter, along with an extension on our impact. You want to hold your shock in the right position. Tighten that up. Now we can go ahead and decompress our spring and remove our strut from this compressor. And once you have this side done, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So now we can go ahead and get our strut back into place. So we'll get our upper mounting studs lined up and reuse our factory mounting nuts. We'll get these loosely reinstalled. Now that we have those loosely in place, we'll go ahead and get our bottom mounting point back in position. Just give that a little push. You need to turn it just slightly. So now we'll use our provided hardware to mount our lower strut mount to our lower control arm. So we'll get our first bolt in. Go ahead and push that all the way through. Now if you notice, our bottom mount is a little bit off kilter. That's okay. What we're gonna do is use a solid punch, come through the bottom here, and we'll use that to help line up our lower mount. So we'll just pull that in position, like so, and send our bolt down through. And we'll grab our provided flange nuts and go ahead and get those started onto our bolts. You may need to lift up slightly on your knuckle to get enough thread showing. So now we'll go ahead and grab our 18mm socket on our impact and an 18mm wrench to go ahead and tighten these down. Now we can go ahead and reattach our sway bar end link. So we'll grab our 18mm factory nut, go ahead and get that back onto our end link stud. And we'll grab our 18mm socket again on our impact to tighten that down. So now we'll go ahead and reattach our upper ball joint to our knuckle. So we'll go ahead and pull that nut off. Swing our knuckle back into position here. Make sure your tie rod's not in the way. Go ahead and pull this back down into our knuckle. Now we'll tighten that back down with our 18mm socket and our swivel adapter on our impact. Now you may need to grab a small pry bar and go ahead and pull down on your upper control arm in order to apply some pressure so your ball joint doesn't spin. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our upper strut mounting nuts, again using our 15mm ratchet wrench. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and reinstall our outer tie rod into our knuckle. Go ahead and line that up with its seat. You may need to adjust it. And we'll go ahead and reinstall our 21mm nut. And we'll tighten that back down with our 21mm socket on our impact. Now we can install our brake and ABS brackets back onto our knuckle. So we'll go ahead and pull our bolts out. We'll get our brackets back into place. Reinstall those bolts. We'll get both in place first, loosely. Then we'll go ahead and tighten these back down with our 8 and 10mm sockets on our ratchet. So now once you've completed this process for this side, you can go ahead and repeat these same steps for the other side. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Bilstein B8 5100 series front shock for your 0 to 2 inch lift for your 15 to 24 wheel drive F-150 excluding the Raptor. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.